Hey guys and dolls, I'm bringing you this really simple, delicious recipe for Argentinian empanadas. Now, everyone does empanadas differently, but this is the typical Argentinian way. Now, there are some little things that maybe I don't add or maybe they put extra, but this is just the way I enjoy them, the way I like them, and the way I've always ate them. The only thing missing in this picture is my eggs. I forgot to bring them out. And I just wanted to show you the ingredients. I have lean ground beef. I have about 2 pounds. This recipe makes about 24 empanadas. Might make 30, but we'll see at the end. So I have ground beef. I'm using my pink Himalayan sea salt. I buy bulk and I put them in containers. I have some olives. I am using Spanish olives. I have 2 Spanish onions, 1 bunch of the scallions. I'm using a little bit of cumin. I got this cumin from Puerto Rico. And this is the only bummer. I usually use, I would say like 4 of these, but I have none but 1, so I'm gonna just use 1. But if you can, use a little more raisin. And then also another thing is I make the dish sometimes, but you know what? I recently have found this brand and I really love them. I find them to be very thin and crisp and they just are delicious. This is the Goya brand and this is the one for the oven. There's one for frying, but this one is for the oven. You get 12. What else? I'm using some paprika. What else I got? Oh, and my eggs. I'm going to put 3 eggs. I just didn't put them here, so I'm going to boil them. And what we're going to start doing first is we're going to chop the onion really small. We're going to chop the scallion, but we're going to separate the green from the white, okay? The green we're going to use at the end. After we chop that really nice, we're going to saute that. We're going to add a little paprika, salt, and pepper. Then we're going to add the greens and then the veggies. Now, the point that you add the green at the end is really because when you bite into the empanada, you want to see that little green in it. That's what I enjoy. I like it to be a little crisp in there. What else? And then my raisins I always at the end. Now, don't worry about soaking your raisins because since this is hot and a little wet, it's just going to get soft. So don't worry about that. And the olives, usually you put 1 olive inside every empanada, but to make my life easier, at the end, I just put them all because everyone loves olives here, so it's all good. So I also have my oven preheated at 375. I'm going to start chopping and we're going to start. I'll show you guys, I just chopped up the white onion really small. The scallion, the white part, really small. You might see a little green, but it was just a little bit. And here's the green part. So I'm putting that on the side. So now what I do in my pan, I add a healthy amount of oil because this is what's going to cook the onions. And the onions, you have to cook them till they get a nice caramelized color, okay? Because that is what's going to flavor our dish. So now I'm going to put all these onions and I'm going to start sauteing them. Here we go, guys. I just put it on the stove, on the counter. And I'm adding just a little more oil. Don't worry about that oil because even though I'm using lean ground beef, this oil is just going to evaporate and it's going to help to caramelize our onions. So now what I do is when it starts getting a little translucent, that's when I add my salt and my paprika and pepper, okay? So here we go, guys. It started already getting a little translucent. So now I'm adding salt. And I'm going to add my paprika. I would say it's like about half a tablespoon or so. Yeah, like about half. Another thing is if you feel that it's getting a little dry, just add a little oil. Okay, don't be scared. Just add a little oil. So now that paprika is actually going to help it get a little bit more brown. Alrighty? So now this should be like another, I would say, 8 to 10 minutes. It's getting there. So guys, I wanted to show you. Look at that pretty color. Now the important thing when you're caramelizing your onions, be careful not to burn your onions. You really do not want your onions to be burned. So you see that's ready. Now what I do is I will just add my ground beef. I'm gonna put it all in. And I'm gonna, you know, break it up always. I'm gonna break it up. I'm actually gonna put up the flame just a tiny bit. So now once I mix this in really well is when I'm going to add the chopped green onions. And then when it's almost cooked is when I will throw in, when it's cooked is when I will add my olives, my raisins, and my egg. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work this in really well. Okay, guys? So I just started moving in. I started moving it all over, mixing it in. Now I'm gonna add my cumin. Nice, that's about, I would say that's about a teaspoon or so. Yeah. Now I'm gonna add my green onions, the green parts. There we go. Now I'm gonna mix this really well, and I'm gonna keep breaking it up because we don't want big hamburger chunks. And then when it's done, I'm gonna shut it off, and I'm gonna add the eggs, which I already have cut up, and my raisins and my olives. Now remember, the olives, that's really up to you. Some people will put just one olive in every empanada. I'm just gonna put a few cut up olives in there so everybody could get a little bite of olives because we love the olives. One other thing is, when this is done, you're gonna taste the salt. Okay, if you feel it needs a little bit more salt, you add a little bit more salt. Now I haven't added any more salt because remember, when we were starting the onions, I added salt. So remember, when it's cooked, that's when you taste it. And if you think it needs a little bit more salt, then go for it. Okay, but at this point, I think it should be fine. But we'll taste it once it's ready. So just keep mixing it in, keep cooking that, and we are on the road to delicious empanadas. Look at that, how beautiful. We are done. So now also, since I'm using lean ground beef, you see there's not a lot of oil. Now, if you're not able to get lean ground beef, it's okay. The only thing you do is you just take out the grease on the side. Usually there's a puddle when you don't use lean. You see that's building up a little bit? It's just a tiny bit. But if you don't use lean, it's going to be more, and you can just discard that. So at this time, I'm also going to try it. Just needs a tiny bit salt. That's it. Now I'm gonna add my chopped eggs, guys. So remember, I like to add triple of that in raisins for this amount of meat, and I'm only using that much olives because I ran out of them. So I would probably put a little more olives. So remember also that you can also put just one olive in each empanada as you're fixing it, but I decided to just mix it in. So I mixed that in first, and then the egg, because I don't want the egg to be super mushed all over. And now here's my chopped egg. I'm adding 3 eggs. So I just give it a quick little mix. Not too much because I don't want it to become like a whole egg mixture. You know what I mean? So I'm just mixing it a little bit to incorporate a little egg in every bite. And that's it. Check it out. Delicious picadillo for empanadas. Argentinian empanadas in the works. Oh, also, while I was doing my stuff, I was defrosting my disc, and they're already nice and soft, so they're ready to be cooked. My oven has been preheated, and we're gonna work. I took the disc out of the thing. I had them defrosting. I just squeezed them a little on the side. I have a little bit of water. I'm just gonna put it around the sides. I'm gonna fill it. Don't overfill, because if you overfill, it will pop. Just make sure. There we go. Just bring it over. Bring it over. You see that? And then we just squeeze it together right there. We squeeze it together. There we go. Now you can use a fork to put it together, or you can just do the turn, which is you just turn little bits like this. See? We just put one on top of the other. See how it's getting pretty? We just put one on top of the other. There we go. And that's it. Look at that. Now I'm gonna make them all. I have an egg wash ready, and I'll show you. Here we go. Now you're gonna brush them with an egg wash. I can't find my brush for nothing, so I made a brush out of parsley. So you just dip it in, and you give it a quick brush. You see, just like that. Just like that. You're gonna make sure all of them are brushed, because this is what gives that beautiful golden color. Now if you see there's a little hole in any of them, you're gonna squeeze it. And if you feel you can't do this pattern, just use a fork. A fork works well we're making sure it's nice and closed. Just want you to see them. They're about to hit the oven for about 25 to 35 minutes. And this recipe, you get 24 to 30 empanadas. So here they are, guys. Delicious empanadas. Just out the oven. Look at that beautiful color. Nice and pretty. Now we just gotta take them out. We set them up. And we try this deliciousness. Look at that. How flaky. See, I love those discs. And here they go, guys. Look at that. Take one bite. Mmm. So delicious.